Alright, my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade. And for a lot of players out there, playing Retaliation has become one of your favorite things to do in the game, not only due to the fact that you have the ability to choose your targeted loot, which obviously makes farming much more streamlined, but more importantly, it just happens to be a lot of fun because look, we all know in this game you can easily get burnt out by doing the same damn thing over and over again, whether it's a mission, control point, things like that. But with playing Retaliation, you're loaded into the map, you're going to face some kill squads. And having said that, one request I get here at the channel is to highlight certain builds that you can use against any faction that you may face during Retaliation, so that's exactly what you're going to get today. Now, starting with the specialization, we are using Gunner, doing that to get that extra armor on kill, reload speed increase. You also have access to the Banshee Pulse if you want to use that. You will get some extra rate of fire, some weapon handling when you're in cover as well, and please always remember you need to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting that 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. And once again, the reason I say that is because many of you out there use the same template for different builds, and if you do not switch the weapons in that skill tree, you're leaving that 15% weapon damage on the table, and you do not want to make that mistake. Now, my primary weapon for this build is the Pestilence. Absolutely love this thing. You can see it's at expertise level 30. And this has the talent Plague of the Outcast. Hits applied to buff dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. This stacks up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with this debuff, 100% of the stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. As far as your secondary and sidearm is concerned, that is totally up to you, dealer's choice. If you do have the quick step, I recommend using that as the sidearm because when that's in your hand, you're going to get that extra 20% movement speed. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see we're running 3 Langmo, 1 Petrov, 1 Overlord, and the Overdog's gloves. Running 3 Langmo because we are targeting that third brand set bonus, which is 30% LMG damage. Moving on to the body armor, it's the second piece of Langmo, and we are using the Talent Glass Cannon, and with that talent, all damage you deal is going to be amplified by 25%, and all damage you take is amplified by 50%, so you definitely need to keep your head on a swivel when you're using this thing. And I know for a lot of players out there, you kind of have a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with that talent. You could also use Obliterate if you want. Next, we have the holster. It's the one piece of Petrov. That is going to give us an extra 10% LMG damage bonus. After that, we have the gloves. Knee pads, they are Fox's Prayer knee pads. We are using those to get that middle attribute, 8% damage to targets out of cover. Next, we actually have the gloves. We are using the Overdogs. These have the talent Weakest Link, and that is going to amplify weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemy currently in combat as per the tier hierarchy. Once again, if you do not have these gloves, I recommend using Contractor's gloves. That would be the second piece of Petrov in your build. And that is going to give you an extra 10% weapon handling, and you will also have that middle attribute, 8% damage to armor. Finally, for those of you out there who do not have the Overdogs, because I know I do highlight those in a lot of different builds, I will leave a link to how to get them in the video description down below. Last but not least, we have the backpack, third and final piece of Langmo. We're running the Backbone backpack with its talent Perfectly Unstoppable Force, where killing an enemy increases weapon damage by 7% for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. As far as my skills are concerned, I'm using the Banshee Pulse and the Reviver Hive. When we take a look at the numbers, I'm sitting at 54.9 crit hit chance, 113.8 crit hit damage, and I want to mention a few things really quick. First of all, you may have noticed some of those pieces are not fully optimized as yet, so there's definite room for improvement. And I also want to remind you those numbers are going to be dependent on not only the gear you have equipped, but having a Shade Watch of level 1000. Need to also mention the fact that in the gameplay footage you're about to see, I do not have any global modifiers active whatsoever, and the reason for that is to ensure that whenever you see this build, you know exactly what it can do without any special events. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Well, good morning, my fellow agents. How are you today? All right, so before we leave for work, I want to talk about a few things really quick, and I failed to mention this in a lot of my build videos, but you know, if you have prototype versions of the gear that I'm highlighting, you definitely want to use that. Now, I've made it's no secret that here at the channel, I've never really made farming for prototype gear a priority, and I know it's important to do that, don't get me wrong, but you know, I just don't truly have the time to really focus on that. However, having said that, you know, I kind of need to make it a priority because moving forward, that's what people are going to be striving to get, you know, and while most things in the game you do not need prototype gear for, obviously having it is going to have a big impact on your builds. But one thing I promise is that I will continue to highlight builds if I do use prototype gear, not only with prototype versions, but regular versions as well and all that good stuff. And I know you do appreciate that because I know a lot of you out there have not made getting prototype gear a priority, or you have no interest in getting it whatsoever. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I want to mention that over the next few days, I will be posting a few different build videos highlighting ones that I recommend trying out for the new Climax Takeover mission. If you have any recommendations that you've used, leave those in the comment section as well. I will be starting a series at the channel where I highlight different builds that y'all recommend because you really send me some incredible ideas. And I think that's all I got for this video, my friends. I wish I had more free time, trust me. It's pretty hectic on this end, but I appreciate your patience, support, all of that stuff. Middle of October, my friends, officially, that's when I'll be able to get back to my normal posting routine, and I can't f***ing wait. Like, seriously. The last, what has it been, 4 months? Suck. I mean, not suck. I mean, everything's fine, you know what I mean? But still, I miss you guys. I mean, I went from posting, let's say 20, I ran out of ammo. What a dumbass. I wasn't even paying attention. You know what? Let's go downstairs, get some more ammo. Anyway, I went from posting like 20 some odd videos a month to like 5 or 6, which is really weird. You know what I mean? So anyway, looking forward to getting back to a regular routine very, very soon. And that's all I got, my friends. Well, there's a lot more, but you know, I won't bore you with all that stuff today. We will save it for a future video. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, my friends. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one. All right, so you ever have one of those days where everything you want to do kind of goes to complete and total shit? You hear that in the background? So apparently we're having trees trimmed next door, so that's happening. Also, what I'm showing you right now, I would typically show you more gameplay footage, but unfortunately I've found like an infinite death screen in the game. And I say that because, you know, my character died. I was in the process of making, you know, some gameplay footage, and I do not have the ability to select a respawn point. So what I wind up doing is I completely and totally quit the game, shut it down, and turn it back on. Still have that infinite death screen. Not only that, I actually shut it down for about 10 minutes entirely, came back to the game, and unfortunately, it was still there. Now, I will be posting a video a little bit later just showing that bug because I don't know if people out there are encountering it, if you've ever seen it before, if it's something that, you know, if you have encountered it, you can tell me how to fix the thing. I mean, my next step is going to be to uninstall the game and reinstall it. It's just, yeah, kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Especially when you only have a certain amount of time to play, you run into this stuff. And again, to be very clear, this is, you know, never happened to me before. But again, one thing I want to do here is always share information with you, both the good and the bad. So, you know, that's what we got going on today, my friends. Hopefully you have never seen this, nor will you see it ever. But as you can see right now, we are loading back into the game and hit that death screen once again. All right, anyway, that's all I got for the video, my friends. I appreciate all of you so much. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.